经济学人精读 Tesla's robotaxi has arrived. 特斯拉的无人驾驶出租车终于来了。Trying to hail a taxi can sometimes involve a long wait, so it is with Tesla's robotaxi. Elon Musk, the car maker's boss, has been promising driverless cabs for years and once promised to have 1 million on the roads by 2020. On Thursday, at last, he will reveal his plans for his Cybercab at an event at Warner Bros. Studios in Hollywood. The location suggests that there will be no shortage of pizzas, but what exactly the bumptious boss will disclose is uncertain. Alongside a purpose-built vehicle, Mr. Musk may also reveal an app to order one up. He may also outline plans for trials of the new venture. Still, doubles remain over the maturity of Tesla's self-driving technology and whether it can catch up with the likes of Waymo, Baidu, and other firms already testing and operating services. One thing is certain, Tesla fans will greet his announcement enthusiastically.《经济学人》精读 The Good, the Bad, and Disclaimer. In an era of prestige television, Disclaimer, a 7-part trailer that debuts on Apple TV Plus on Friday, is about as grand as it gets. The director, Alfonso has won 5 Oscars, and Kate Blanchett leads a starry cast. She plays a British documentary maker whose life unravels when a long-buried episode resurfaces. Kevin Kline is an aggrieved widow pursuing a vendetta against her. But is it any good? No, and yes. No, because the palate crumbles under scrutiny. Too much of the dialogue is wooden and the sex scenes are gratuitous. Yes, because the acting is intermittently wonderful and the show reaches boldly for big themes, including grief, marriage, and what parents do to children, and vice versa. Ultimately, the tricky tale makes you ponder the stories people tell about the past and each other, good, bad, or a bit of both. Disclaimer is destined to be a hit.
In an era of prestige television, Disclaimer, a 7-part thriller that debuts on Apple TV Plus on Friday, is about as grand as it gets. The director, Alfonso Cuarón, has won 5 Oscars, and Kate Blanchett leads a starry cast. She plays a British documentary maker whose life unravels when a long-buried episode resurfaces. Kevin Kline is an aggrieved widower pursuing a vendetta against her. But is it any good? No. And yes. No, because the plot crumbles under scrutiny. Too much of the dialogue is wooden, and the sex scenes are gratuitous. Yes, because the acting is intermittently wonderful, and the show reaches boldly for big themes, including grief, marriage, and what parents do to children, and vice versa. Ultimately, the tricksy tale makes you ponder the stories people tell about the past and each other. Good, bad, or a bit of both. Disclaimer is destined to be a hit.
《经济学人》精读 Germany's recession woes. Last year, Germany was the only G7 economy to experience a recession. This year, it may do so again. On Wednesday, Robert Habeck, the Vice Chancellor and the Economy Minister, is set to announce that the government expects GDP to contract by 0.2% in 2024, a downgrade from an earlier forecast of modest growth. Indeed, real GDP has barely risen since the pandemic. What is ailing the country was fated as Europe's powerhouse. High interest rates hurt construction and manufacturing. The economy was also especially reliant on Russian gas, the supply of which was turned off after the Russian-Ukraine's war, which growth is now outstripping inflation, but households are clean channeling incomes into savings rather than consumption. These problems may prove transient, but structural headwinds also loom, including slow productivity growth, low public investment, and an aging population. Mr. Habeck believes the government's recently approved growth package will juice Germany's economy back to life next year. Few economists agree.
Last year, Germany was the only G7 economy to experience a recession. This year it may do so again. On Wednesday, Robert Habeck, the Vice-Chancellor and Economy Minister, is set to announce that the government expects GDP to contract by 0.2% in 2024, a downgrade from an earlier forecast of modest growth. Indeed, real GDP has barely risen since the pandemic. What is ailing the country once feted as Europe's powerhouse? High interest rates hurt construction and manufacturing. The economy was also especially reliant on Russian gas, the supply of which was turned off after the Russian-Ukrainian war. Wage growth is now outstripping inflation. but households are channeling incomes into savings rather than consumption. These problems may prove transient, but structural headwinds also loom, including slow productivity growth, low public investment, and an aging population. Mr. Habeck believes the government's recently approved growth package will juice Germany's economy back to life next year. Few economists agree. Asia is graying fast, but the region...
Recession, Vice Chancellor. Contract, downgrade. Fate, powerhouse. Alien, outstrip. Transient, headwind. Loom,经济学人精读 Fighting tooth and nail over Florida. Since 1945, governments have added fluoride to drinking water to improve dental health. The immediate effect was impressive. Children had, on average, 2 fewer decayed teeth than before, but a new meta-study says that water fluoridation scams may be getting long in the tooth. The review analyzed 157 different studies and found that the fluoride in toothpaste in high-income countries was now doing most of the work. Fluoridated water used to. Its benefit has been chipped away to just a quarter of a tooth. That will give critics of fluoridation reason to smile. They argue that too much of the chemical can be poisonous and that it is best applied topically. Proponents counter that fluoridation is cheap and that the water reaches parts of the tooth that brushing does not. The study may give policymakers considering the cost and feasibility of new fluoridation scams something to crew on as the partisans gnash their teeth.
Since 1945, governments have added fluoride to drinking water to improve dental health. The immediate effect was impressive. Children had, on average, 2 fewer decayed teeth than before. But a new meta-study says that water fluoridation schemes may be getting long in the tooth. The review analyzed 157 different studies and found that the fluoride in toothpaste in high-income countries was now doing most of the work fluoridated water used to. Its benefit has been chipped away to just a quarter of a tooth. That will give critics of fluoridation reason to smile. They argue that too much of the chemical can be poisonous and that it is best applied topically. Proponents counter that fluoridation is cheap and that the water reaches parts of the tooth that brushing does not. The study may give policymakers considering the cost and feasibility of new fluoridation schemes something to chew on as the partisans gnash their teeth.